Okay, so I guess I'm going to be discussing first the one that is given in the this material. So this is still the one that I've sent last time. Question guys, na-upload na ba nako ang government grant nga PowerPoint sa classroom? Wala pa, no? Correct ba? So i-upload na ako later after this class. Okay, so if you check the classroom today, so I posted a lot of things sa classroom, sa 106 and sa 124. Please check it after this class if you haven't checked it yet. Sorry, nag-inom ko. Na lang ha. Okay, so I'm gonna read the problem. So this is related to what we have discussed yesterday, no? So this is the acquisition of property, plant, and equipment, no? Method number 4 is so issuance of note payable. Sa pero pwede okay. For a while guys, kinay nag-chat. Kanog link sa classroom. Copy. Joke. Copy invite link di ay. This is the link for I think this is B2. Edit. This is for ikaw na lang figure out ha. Muna siyang B2. Then ikaw na lang kung asa ka properly nga nakawutang Though anyway, it's still okay lang mangyapon because both classrooms would have the same posts. B2, B1. Sige. If that's okay na already, if okay na ka, so I'm gonna be continuing with discussion. So on August 1, 2014, Bamco Company purchased a new machine on a deferred payment basis. So deferred payment basis. A down payment of 100,000 was made and 4 monthly installment of 250,000 each are to be made beginning on September 1, 2014. Okay, in this problem guys, diba, if you have remembered what we discussed, now if there is cash price equivalent, now that's our first priority. Now in this problem, it has a cash price equivalent of 950,000. Now, this is the part wherein it plays out how do we record the note payable, no? Yes, we're okay with recording the PPE. That's just simply 950 cash price equivalent plus the down payment. Wala na din na siya cash price equivalent na din na siya daan. Okay. So cash price equivalent of 950. Now the entity incurred additional installation cost which amounts to 30,000 pesos. Okay. Now, continuing on, in this from what we have discussed last time, in this problem, there is to purchase the PPE or the machine, we issued 250,000 upat ka 250,000. So it is unsay total 4 times 250, that's 1 million note plus 100,000 nga down payment. So ako siya so pen. So 4 monthly installments of 250,000 each. So 250,000 times 4, that's a 1 million note. That's 1 million plus 100,000 of down payment. Okay, so for 1 million atong note nga gi-issue and atong down payment is 100,000. Take note of the problem, guys. Take note of the problem. walay interest, no? Non-interest, this is a non-interest bearing note. However, no, this is not dili kayo siya na i-impact because we have already given the cash price equivalent. Now, since cash price equivalent is already given, we can just simply use this cash price equivalent of 950,000. So question, what else do we have to capitalize? We also have to capitalize the installation cost of 30,000, no? Going back, guys, from what we have discussed last week, no? Our measurement basis of property, plant, and equipment, listen to me carefully, is no cost plus directly attributable cost, no? Which is part ni ang installation cost, no? DAC ni si installation cost. What else? Pinaka-last nga component sa cost is cost of not restoration cost, but restoration cost, no? Kanang which is naay obligation si company or si entity to at the end of the life of the asset. Okay. Cost or other term, ana, would be the cost of dismantling and removing the item, or other, as isa pagit ka term, is cost of restoring the site on which it is located. So estimated dismantling, disposal, or restoration cost. So 950, this is the cost, which is the cash price equivalent plus 30,000. This is our initial cost of the PPE. So the answer would be 980,000. Now guys, what I want you guys to remember, other than this one, this 980,000 na cost of machinery is our journal entry. Okay, because there are things that might pop up, no? Although dili ka siya important right now, no, because our only concern is the measurement of the PPE. Later on, no, ini ka sa higher accounting na kamo or other financial accounting or intermediate accounting subject na enrollan ninyo. So ang magka-concern po kamo sa recording of the note payable. Now take note guys of the note payable here. This 250,000 times 4, 1 million. So take note, the note payable should always be recorded at, sayop man siya nga entry, ano man siya, dili man siya balance, napag ay. Okay, now where did we get the entries? Okay, asa ni siya nakita ang 150 nga discount, sir? Okay, let's start first with the cash price equivalent. So 950,000 guys, no, this is the cash price equivalent. No, this will be the amount that we're going to be paying if we are going to be paying the item through cash. Now, ang component ani nga cash price equivalent, no? Take note, ang pagpalit na to ani sa machinery kay duha atong consideration. Ang first nato nga consideration nga gihimo is nagbayad ta og 100,000. So the rest of this one, di ba, 950 minus 100,000, that is 850,000. This 850,000 pertains to the note. This is the cash. Oh sir, mga question na mo ani. Di ba, naglibog na kamo kay nganong 850 sir? Nga 1 million man ni ang gi-issue upat gani ka 250,000. So to answer that one guys, this 850,000 is actually the present value. PV, mo ni siyang PV. This 1 million is only the FV. The face amount. Face value or face amount. Let me erase that one. Give mo na siyang F. This is the present value and this is the face amount. Now guys, take note, as what I've said yesterday, note payable is recorded at present value. So mao jud ni siya ang iyahang amount nga i-record nato sa libro, no, ang 850. Now, in recording the 850,000, no, mag-set up ta og ginatawag nga discount amount. Di ba what I've said last time, if present value is lower than the face amount, no, ang result ana would be what we call a discount. Muna siyang discount. Now, what is our present value? Our present value is 850,000. Our face amount is 1 million. And this would result to a difference of 150,000. And this 150,000, this is what we call a discount on note payable. So this is why there is a debit of discount on note payable, because as what I've mentioned yesterday, discount on note payable is what we call a contra account. Sir, di ba usually sir, contra account is credit? Di ba? Dili siya always. No, this is the case wherein it is a debit contra account because the main account in which it is deducted has a credit balance, which is note payable. So ang net nato nga note payable, ang tinuod jud nato nga amount sa note payable would be the 1 million face amount minus the 150 discount, that is 850,000. Now, the 130 there, kaninga 130, ako lang ni siya nga gi-combine nga entry, combined lang ni siya nga entry guys. This is the 100,000 nga down payment nga cash plus the 30,000 installation cost. Okay. So napatay isa ka example. Okay, kani guys. This one. Nga lang ha. Okay, mo pa ni siya. Okay, daghan og problem. So sakto ra din eh. Now, kani guys, I'd like you guys to compute this one, no? Please if you don't have your calculators with you, your basic calculators, please get it now. And later on, I'll be giving you 5 minutes to recompute this present value factor. Now, the question would be, how many decimal places are we going to be using? So, ang decimal places na to guys, actually depende. Ang pinaka best jud is ako in my opinion, no, mag-compute kog present value. I actually don't wala jud ko ga round off. Pero ang pinaka safe is 4 to 5 decimal places, no. But no, if given na ang present value factors, use the given. Okay, sige. I'll read. On December 31, 2014, Anxious Company purchased a machine in exchange for, kani guys, ang gi-exchange niya guys kay non-interest bearing note. So non-interest bearing note. Now to give you a refresher on what we have discussed yesterday, if the non-interest bearing note, no, is number one, first is if it is long-term in nature. So we have to measure it at present value. Now, unsa pilan siya ka years? O 10 payments of 500,000, the first payment was made. O, so 10 years siya guys. So 10 years. So 10 years iyang term. Now take note guys, if non-interest bearing note, in the face of the note, there is no nominal. Wala siya nominal interest. Diba? No, nominal interest is the stated rate or the stated interest. Pero since wala may na state, kitawagan niya kay non-interest bearing gani eh. So wala tayo nominal rate. However, in all debt instruments, whether there is interest or not, there is what we call an effective interest. So this is the true interest. This is the market interest. Okay. So 10 years, the first payment is 2015. Type on your keyboards or on your phones what will be the present value factor that you are going to be using in computing this one? Ito itong gamitin ng present value factor, guys. Ordinary annuity due, or present value of 1? Given actually, di ba? Ordinary annuity. So, so ano na lang, let me add to you. PV of ordinary annuity. Now let me add. Why did we use ordinary annuity? Now what led the author to use the ordinary annuity instead of present value of 1? Nga nung nag-PV of annuity man siya, guys, instead of PV of 1 or the PV of annuity due. So unsay reason? Buot-buot lang siya, gamit lang dayon siya og PV of annuity. Unsa man? Unsay reason? Periodic ang payments, no? Equal and periodic. Siya ang pinaka-correct. Take note, guys, what is the frequency of payment? Unsang frequency nga gipangbayad nato? We are going to be paying annually, meaning every year. That's every 1 year. So that is periodic. Now, what else? No, equal ang payment. So every year, and our payment is 500,000. Okay, so 500,000 will be multiplied with the present value of ordinary annuity of 1, no? At 12%. Now, what I want you guys to do, I'll give you 5 minutes. Please recompute, no? Because okay lang ni siya, guys, kay example lang man ni siya. So the present value factor is already given. So what if in the quiz, dili given ang present value factor and wala mo cycle and wala mo basic calculator lang. So what I want you guys to do right now at your home or wherever you are located, please do recompute this 5.65. And after you're done, please ani nga gesture sa dili ko manawag, just for me to know that nahumanan mo or nakabaw mo magkuha ani. Nakamute the echo. Try to get 5.65, guys. Dili na gamito ng 5.33, guys, because 5.33 is only for 9 periods. Very good. I'll give you until 5:55 for everyone who hasn't yet caught up. So again, guys, please do revisit. Please do revisit the lecture video that I've sent to you guys. So this is just an example. However, not all the time the present value factors are given. So it should be a skill that you are going to be mastering in order for you to survive the accountancy program. Actually, guys, ang present value factor does not only exist in financial and in intermediate accounting. Mugawas ni siya sa advanced financial accounting, mugawas pud ni siya sa management and sa finance ninyo nga mga subjects. So, better start early. Good. Cheerleader lang, mag-cheer lang ko sa mga nagdone na. Nice. 5.65. So 10 periods, 500,000. Okay. Okay. Okay, sige, nice. So again, guys, the present, just to emphasize again, the present value again is or can be computed. So it's not all the time it is given. Same lang na siya, guys. Usahay ka, na kung mga estudyante sa higher years, mga 4th years, magreklamo sa exam kay ganong walay tax table. Manong walay tax table. Mali. Sila dapat dapat memorize na nila ang tax table. So kung dapat memorize po ninyo ang pag-compute ani. Grabe na sad. Kamay lang natin. Sige guys, more. Sige, for those who have not yet kanang wala pa naka-answer before the 5:55, please do revisit again the lecture video that I sent in the classroom. You may also search for it in YouTube, and just use this problem as reference in your competition. So dapat makuha dyan ninyo ang 5.65. If ganahan mo mag-explore, pwede po ninyo i-compute ang 5.33. So these are possible to be computed. Like kani. Ano na siya? 5.65. 565.02.022.3028. So manang formula. Ako kay formula magud ko sa kunamdan. Di kay ko master sa basic calculator. So the formula is now 1, itong isulat ako hapon, 1 minus 1 plus r, so 1.12, no, 1 plus 0.12 is 1.12 raised to negative n, which is the period over the r, no, 0.12. So we will be, wala na siya. So we will be arriving at the same amount. So, pero this one, ang method ani is formula or scientific calculator. However, you are going to be computing for the present value factor using a basic one. You know, because ambot na lang jud ngano na siya. Ingon ni Boa. Pero sa in real life guys, mura siya walay gamit nga method because all accountants basically just use scientific calculator. Actually wala gani eh. Naga-excel lang kami. Dili usong calculator sa tinuod. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to the slides now and let's proceed. Now same lang gyapon ni siya case guys. However, in this case, on December 31, 2014, ang Shoes Company acquired used machinery by issuing a seller a 2-year non-interest bearing note. Both are non-interest bearing for 3 million. So 3 million na pod. However, in this case, ang scheme of payment niya kay it will be paid, the full amount of 3 million will be paid 2 years later. Similarly, no, the effective interest rate is 12%. Okay, so duha ka present value factor ang gihatag dire. Question, what is the present value factor that we are going to be using for this one? The present value factor of 1 or the present value factor of ordinary annuity for 2 years of 1.69? So 0.8 or 1.69 atong gamiton? (0.8) or 1.69? PV of 1 or PV of ordinary annuity of 1? Correct, no? Present value of 1. Ngano man kay lump sum man sa ang payment. So if lump sum ang payment, meaning bulto nga pagbayad at the end of 2 years, so 2 years ang pagbayad, so gamito nato instead of ordinary annuity which is used for periodic and equal payments, gamito nato present value of 1 for 2 periods. Okay, again, I'm going to be giving you 3 minutes to compute 0.8 or if pila unsa na siya, dali lang. .0.8 or 0.0.7971.938. Muna dapat inyo makompute sa present value factor. Please, again, if you're done, raise your hand and or type done. Oh, and just for the heck of it, please compute this 1.69 also. If that mana mo, i-compute po ng 1.69 guys. Aron mahasa mo og present value. Okay, good. Okay. So if naman ka mo, please also compute for the 1.69 para dili magpaabot sa uman. So balik continue to 602, then we'll go over the na. Good. Okay, no? Mas daghan ang nag-ingon og done sa present value of 1. Kay masayon man i-compute ang present value of 1. Simple lang man ang formula, di ba? Kay 1 plus r raised to negative n. So r nato is 12, n nato is negative 2 or 2. Okay. Sige. Now, since we're okay, we're good with computing present value, no? Nice guys, maayo. Now let us get the total cost of the machinery. Kauna natong total cost of the machinery. Ari sa first balik ta sa first. Kaya wala pa man ta compute. So to compute for the present value of the note, guys, no, we just simply multiply the periodic payment here na 500,000. I-multiply nato siya sa 5.65. Nya kani ang sa kaduha, ang 3 million i-multiply nato siya sa 0.8. Okay. So again, ang first nga bullet or first nga question, 500,000, which is the periodic payments multiplied by the present value of ordinary annuity. Yung second na bullet, 3 million multiplied by the present value factor of 1 nga 0.8. So result, present value of the note payable, 500,000 times 5.65. Ang answer, 2825 plus the present value of the second note payable, 3 million times 0.8. That's 2.4. Total cost of the machinery is 5.225. Okay. Now just to remind you again, this is in the absence of cash price. This is option 2. Cost of the asset is acquired by installment is equal to present value of the total installment payments plus the down payments, or the present value of the note plus down payment. So the present value factor of ordinary annuity is used in computing the present value of first note payable because the note is payable by installment or periodic. Now next is the present value factor of 1 is used in computing present value of the second note payable because the note is payable lump sum after 2 years. Okay, na journal entry, hopefully naa. Very good. Okay. Okay, take note guys on the journal entry. Di ba? On the first machinery, we always, again, in both cases, we always record the note payable at their face amount. Take note, the face amount of the note payable is 500,000 annual payment times 10 years. That is 5 million. No, 5 million. And ang present value nato, so ato ang present value and ang ato ang face amount. Ang face amount nato dire is 5 million. Ang present value nato kay 2.825. So obviously, if we compare the two, the present value of 2.825 and the face amount nga 5 million, there is obviously what we call a discount on note payable on their difference. The difference between the two, ang result ano is 2,175,000. So that is discount on note payable to 175 and the debit to machinery to 825, which is the present value of the note. Second note, 3 million. How much is our present value? That is 2.4. Salamat mo, wala ko na mute. 2.4. So our present value is 2.4 million. Our face amount is 3 million. So the difference is 600,000 or 0.6 million. So that is what we call again the discount on note payable. And the present value of the note payable, since there is no down payment, would be the amount recorded in machinery. Okay, so any questions so far? Okay, so we go. Next one, another problem. Saan ni siya? Okay. Sige. Nice lang po din siya, actually. Sige, I'm gonna read. On January 1, 2019, Sugar Company purchased a machine in exchange, same lang yapon niya, non-interest bearing note. No, 3 payments this time. 3 payments, no niya, 1 million per year. So ano ni siya? Installment. No? So similarly, we are going to be using the present value factor of ordinary annuity. No? Because again, the first payment was made on December 30, 2019. That is at the end of the year. And the date of the prevailing interest rate was 12% at the date of issue 1. So this 12% again is the effective interest rate. Okay, so what I want you guys to do, again, please compute for the 2.4. This is the present value factor of ordinary annuity of 1 using 12% for 3 periods. So please do recompute 2.4. Ilan pa periods? 3. So dapat ang makuha ninyo kay, compute ko ako, 2.48, I joke, 2.408. 0 na siya 0. 2.408 for 1, 8, 3, 1. 2.401831. Please type or please raise your hand again if you're done with recomputing this one. Practice, 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 practice. Done? Sige, I'll give you until 6:02, 6:04, 6:02 to compute. I guess compute na lang po niya siya, ang 0.71. This one is 3 here, maghapon, non-interest bearing note, but this one is lump sum. Okay. Actually, second nga question kay ano ni siya, sayop. And dili mo po ni siya, though anyway, it's not related to your topic, which is PPE. And another thing na ako na doon pantayan, nada-damage na siya. Anyway, okay na siya. Sige, let's continue. So, another thing, guys, that you need to note, guys, in this problem, the new machine was damaged. Na-damage siya, guys. So what does it mean if the damage, or what does it imply if the machine was damaged during its installation? Now again, guys, di ba? Ang usual nato, if ever there is installation cost, hopefully you still remember what I discussed last week. Now, if there is installation cost, no, we have to capitalize it, no, or we have to capitalize it as part of PPE. However, no, this one, no, na-damage siya during installation. Now, in kaning mga expenditures, no, actually are expensed. Expense siya, guys. Ang i-capitalize lang nato sa machine would only be the installation cost. However, if the item is damaged during installation and there is a requirement for us to repair it, this repair cost na 50,000 will not be capitalized as part of the PPE but will be expensed. Now take note, guys, of the definition of asset. Asset has future benefit tied to it. Now this one, it happened as a result, no, of a prior incurred cost na ano ni siya kay na damage. Now the damage has been done and this one is an asset, no, and this will be recorded as part of repairs expense. Now usually, guys, the result of mismanagement, the result of mishandling and mismanagement cannot be capitalized. Usually those, all the time actually. Now those are expense. Now mga mismanagement, mishandling, expense na siya. Okay, clear? Okay. Ano yung answer on the question? Cost of the first machine, that's the 1 million multiplied by 2.4. 1 million for 3 years multiplied by the present value factor of 1 at 12% for 3 periods. Present value of ordinary annuity of 1. Yeah, ang second machine kay present value of 1 for 3 periods multiplied by the 4 million lump sum amount. Total cost of the machine. Now, walay gi-add ang 50,000 na repairs during installation because again, the 50,000 was a result of mismanagement. Okay, so we're done with issuance of notes. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be uploading additional problems related to property, plant, and equipment, not talking about issuance of note payable to acquire PPE. Okay, now let's continue on. 10 minutes lang sa break ha, aron natay di na to ma-bridge. Pero let's continue on with what we have left before, which is government grants. Okay, so actually ayun na lang, ganahan ako manutan na niya. Doon sa ako ang slideshow, PPT ato, govern, right here, government grants. Wala pa na ako na-upload ni guys, no? Na-upload na nila ako, wala. Ang gov grants. Wala pa. Ako ni siya upload later. Alright, so let's continue here. Sige, para mamana ta. Sige. Okay. So government grants, again, no, just to recap, government grants are those grants given by the government specifically to the company, no, which can be measurable, no? Because again, if a government grant cannot be measured, no, it is only called government assistance. And there are also benefits received from the government, which is not a government assistance and not a government grant, no? Dili na sila government assistance, dili siya government grant, ang tawag ato, mga indirect benefits. All right. So to continue, so government grant related to non-depreciable assets that requires fulfillment of certain conditions. So we discussed this last week. So this one is recognized, no, as income over the period which bear the cost of meeting the conditions. Unsa ra pasabot ana? So since the asset, it is a grant related to asset, guys. Grant siya related to asset. Now again, if grant siya nga related to asset, ang usual nato nga recognition of the grant income would be parallel or would be the same with how we recognize the depreciation of the PPE related to the grant. However, in this case, the PPE that we acquired through the grant or ang PPE nga related sa grant is not depreciable. Ang example ana is land, no? Land is a non-depreciable asset, no? Wala siya depreciation, no? Because land appreciates. Okay. So in that case, when in recognizing the grant, no, related to non-depreciable asset, now we recognize the deferred grant income as we achieve or as we accomplish the conditions set upon by the government to us. No, and the recognition, no, it should be recognized as income over the periods which bear the cost of meeting the conditions. So answer is letter B. Okay, here are the journal entries. So grant related to non-depreciable asset requiring fulfillment of certain conditions shall be recognized as income over the period which bear the cost of meeting the conditions. Okay, so sige, later on po ay guys, with along with the slide that I'm using right now, I'm also going to be posting a lecture video for your reference, for government grants. Okay. So here is another one. So a government grant daw that becomes receivable as a compensation for expenses or losses already incurred or for the purpose of giving the immediate financial support to the entity with no future related cost should be recognized as income. So ang pag-recognize nato guys sa government grant income if the event in which the grant becomes receivable has already passed, meaning na hitabo na siya and there is no obligation for us to do and there is no other additional conditions for us to fulfill. So we have to recognize the grant income on the period in which it becomes receivable. That's letter B. Okay, so here is the journal entry, no? To record the government grant received, debit cash, credit, grant income. No? We don't recognize deferred grant income because the condition has already been done. Wala na tayo obligation. Sige guys. Ari na ta sa wala na to na-discuss last time. Okay. A government grant that becomes repayable shall be accounted for what? It is accounted for, ako na lang mag-answer ani, it is a change in estimate. Okay, so both of these terms, guys, no, just to give you a background, kaning duha ka terms, magka-familiar mo ani jud. Change in accounting policy and change in accounting estimate. So, so the reference of this one, actually, na siya own standard, and changes in accounting policy, changes in accounting estimate, and accounting errors. Just to give you trivia lang sa ano eh. Now we have what we call PAS 8. Now change in accounting estimate, change in accounting policies, and correction of errors. Muna siyang title sa sa PAS 8. So change in accounting estimate, guys, no? The effect of a change in accounting estimate is what we call prospective, and change in accounting policy is what we call retrospective. Okay. Now, change in accounting estimate, guys, no? Let me check kung sa definition jud ani. Pero basically, ang change in accounting estimate, no, as what the name or what the word implies, no, there is just a change in the way we measure. Now, the way we measure something. Say, for example, property, plant, and equipment. So if we initially are using the straight line depreciation, method, no, sa ato ang pag-depreciate sa PPE, pero gi-change nato because we determined that the more proper depreciation method used would be the output method. So ang that is just a change in estimate, no? So when we account for a change in estimate, guys, no, again, prospective siya, and if prospective, the effect of the adjustment, of course, there is adjustment because there is change. So if there is adjustment, ang tawag sa adjustment or ang effect sa adjustment would be in the current period only. Current period ng effect. Current period. Current and future periods. Okay. More siyang estimate perspective. Now, if change in accounting policy, na ang effect niya kay retrospective, and ang retrospective effects sa retrospective would be prior periods. So mag-adjust yun sa prior period. So very lawom na ni siya, pero basically no naata adjustment to retained earnings or capital. Okay, so I don't want you guys to think into this deeper lang sa. Now, we will be going to be discussing this one again. But again, to give you a background, a change in accounting estimate, no, the effect is what we call a prospective effect. And the prospective effect, no, affects current period and future periods only. So, wala na prior period adjustments. Now, changes in accounting policy is, ang effect is retrospective, and it would affect the prior period, meaning there is adjustment to the previous years. Okay. So maybe I will be discussing this one more thoroughly in inventory. Okay. Na siya ano. O past 8 jud daw. Sige. So when government grants become repayable due to non-fulfillment of a condition attaching to it, so wala ba din ako na-discuss no nganong unsa ang reason nganong ma-repayable ang grant, no? A grant can be repayable if ever wala na to gi fulfill ang condition. Again guys, as what I've said last meeting, no, if the government gives you something, there is always a catch. And that catch is that's what we call the condition. And if we did not fulfill our obligation or our condition, which is imposed upon by the government, they will be taking the grant with them. So if wala nimo na fulfill, there is what we call a repayment of grant. So it should be treated as a change in estimate under PAS 8 and accounted for, what I said last time, prospectively. So, ang issue, there is accounting issue here guys. Duha actually ang accounting issue. Because the accounting for repayment of grant would be different under grant related to asset. No? Because take note guys, ang grant related to asset, nga deducted siya ang grant sa cost sa asset, there is no recognition of a grant income. It was, and the recognition of the grant income only comes into as a deduction of depreciation expense, blah, blah, blah. That's what I've said last time. So a repayment of grant related to income should be first applied against any unamortized deferred income. So ang na-recognize nato nga deferred grant income, i-apply sa nato. So say for example, ani lang siya, just to give you a quick illustration. So let's say for example guys, nakadawat tag 1 million. Now we are going to be fulfilling an obligation over 5 years. Not a condition over 5 years. Now let's say for example, on year 3, no, wala na nato na fulfill ang obligation. So ang gihatag ni government sa ato 3 years ago nga 1 billion, bawion na niya, babawiin. So iyang bawion. So let's say for example, we just use the straight line method and we already, di ba, ang ginahimo ni nato sa 1 million, di ba 5 years, over 5 years. So let's say for example, ang pag-recognize nato sa income kay fixed every year. So year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, nag-recognize og 200k, nag-recognize og 200k per year. Ana. Pero at the end of year 3, nag-recognize ng 200 income, ang tibo ka 1 million na repayable. So what do we do? Diba at the end of year 3, naapatay balance nga 200,000 nga unearned income or deferred income or 400,000. This is deferred grant income. Ang himuon nato, before we recognize the loss, no, mag-recognize tag loss, ay bayaran man nato 1 million balik. Ang himuon ang i-apply siya nato first sa deferred grant income balance. So the entry or the journal entry goes like this. Nag-credit na siya cash of 1 million. Of course, kaya nagbayad, gibalik nato ang 1 million. So nag-credit ta og 1 million. Nag-debit ta og deferred grant income. Napamantay remaining balance sa deferred grant income nga 400k. And mag-credit ta og loss. Loss on repayment. So take note guys, this is only applicable for grant related to income. Different po ang accounting nato sa grant related to asset. Okay, so any question on this one? So to the extent that the repayment exceeds as deferred income, in case no deferred, the repayment should be recognized immediately as an expense. Okay, so this is the journal entry. So we have to close first the balance of the deferred grant income. Diba? Sige, just to give you ang entry nato sa pagdawat nato sa 1 million initially, nagdawat ta og cash nga 1 million, nag-recognize ta og deferred grant income. Nganong deferred grant income pa man siya? Because naatay obligation nga need pa i-fulfill. So therefore, since we have an obligation pa, we don't have the right to recognize income yet. So over 3 years, just an example, equal ato ang recognition, pero di siya equal dapat equal ato ang recognition nga 200,000 per year. So therefore, ang 1 million nato nga deferred grant income, nabuhinan siya og 1 million on year 1, nabuhinan siya 200,000 on year 1, nabuhinan siya 200,000 on year 2, nabuhinan siya 200,000 on year 3. So balance 400,000. So that this is how we recognize deferred grant income or recognize deferred grant income of 400,000 na debit. Yeah, loss on repayment 600,000, cash 1 million. Okay. Sige. Don't worry, we have example later. Next, repayment of grant related to income shall be, again, applied first to deferred income balance, and the excess shall be recognized immediately as an expense, as to what I did here. So, gi-apply sa nato siya sa 400,000, ang 1 million ni gibayad, niya ang rest kay i-recognize nato siya as an expense. Answer letter D. Okay, so I'm going to be giving this to you guys. So, mo ni siya, napagipang-attach ani nga mga screenshot from my notes so that you have guide. So, if related to income, that's our entry, loss on repay, deferred grant income, debit, loss on repayment, credit, cash. So, mo na to again is apply first on unamortized deferred income, and the excess shall be recognized as a loss. Okay. Now, here is the tricky part. Now, mo na siyang tricky, which is grant related to an asset. Okay. So, if it is a grant related to an asset, take note guys, natay duha ka approach. No, option 1 and option 2. So, option 1 is we treat it similarly as to how we treat it if we are going to be using the grant related to income approach. Yeah, ang option 2, we have recognizing the grant received as deduction to the asset that we received or related to the grant. Now, what is or when the grant becomes repayable, since our accounting has two options, napud tayo duha ka scenario if ma-repayable na siya. Okay, sa katong first nga giingon nako nga i-account nato siya same as grant related to income, similar lang pod, we have to do the same procedure or same entries and same computation as if siya, grant related to income. Okay. Nya, basahan sa nako. Okay. Increasing the carrying amount of the asset if the deduction approach is used. Okay, actually that is what? That is correct. Okay, next. Recognizing as expense the cumulative additional depreciation that would have been recorded to date in the absence of the grant if the deduction approach is used. Letter B is also correct. Okay. Letter C, reducing the deferred income account balance to 0 if the deferred income approach is used. Actually, that is also correct. All of these are correct. Now, again, now to give you di ba, nato isa ka option, isa ka, sige, later na lang ko, naman tayo illustration. So, kana, all of this is correct. So, tandaan na lang nato in this, sa kaninga point, at this point, and we will be discussing this one further when we are going, if masulod na, if ma-arrive na ta sa mga problems, so don't worry. Hopefully maano ninyo. So first na to himuon is we increase the carrying amount if the deduction approach is used. Nya after ana kay i-increase pud nato ang additional depreciation or mag-increase po nato ang additional depreciation. So more or less guys, ang ginahimo ani is it just cancels, gina-cancel niya ang effect sa grant. Cancel the effect of the grant o cancel effect grant. Excuse. Oh. Okay, so cancel niya ang effects grant. Ika na. Sige, anyway. Sige, ari sa ta, dali lang. Let's go to the problems. Okay, sige. Nice. Ari na to sa lingaw nga part, problems. Ilan ni siya ka problems man? Kapit na guys, 19 pages to go. Dali lang ni siya sige. On January 2, 2011, brand company received a grant of 60 million to compensate it for cost it incurred in planting trees over a period of time. Over a period of 5 years. Nag-ingon lang kong time kay natabunan mo gud. Makita ninyo ang ano? Ako rin makita. Saka mo gud na meetgoogle.com is sharing a window. Sige. So for costs it incurred in planting trees over a period of 5 years. So 5 years ang obligation, and ang obligation nato is to plant trees, no? Nya gitagaan ta ni government og 60 million. Now 2011 to 2015. Okay. Nya natay cost guys. Ang cost nato sa 2011 2 million. Cost nato sa 2012 is 4 million. Cost nato sa 2013, 6 million. Cost nato sa 2014, 8 million. Cost nato sa 2015, 10 million. Sorry, wala siya na-align. 2011, 2. 2012, 4. 2013, 6. 2014, 8. 2015, 10. Okay, now, question, in 2014 or in year 4, what is the income that we should be recognizing related to the grant? So there is already an answer, but I want you guys to answer it yourself. I want you guys to put in the chat box what is the income in 2011, income in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. Ano siya? Butang ninyo per year ang pila ang income mag-i-recognize. Sige. 5 minutes. Of course, di ko mag-expect naman sa ninyo. Dahil yun, no? 5 minutes, guys. Please get the income recognized in 2011 to 2015. Please do it yourself. Please do not, wala man ako na siya nahatag ang answer key, ang slide. So, wala di kamo katanaw. So, yes, please do compute for 2011 to 2015. I'm going to be giving you 5 minutes. Attempt lang sa attempt. So whether or not you answer it, I'm going to be explaining it in 5 minutes. So no pressure. Okay, so time's up. Yes, correct. I already see a correct answer here. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to be going back here. Balikan ako ha. Just to give you a quick look around on how kung unsa ang giingon ni standard or unsa ang lakas ito siya ay Okay, sige. So government grant in government grant in recognition of specific cost. Kato ganina di ba na siya specific cost. So na siya cost na pila to siyang cost niya ay wala. Ang cost niya in 2011 2 million, cost in 2012 4, cost in 2013 6, cost in 2014 8, cost in 2015 10. So ni ana si standard na if it is related to specific expenses or specific cost, i-recognize nato ang grant income, letter A, which is over the same period as the relevant expense. So pasabot ana, no? I-match nato si expense or i-match nato si income sa kay expense. So how do we match the income with the expense? Going back to the problem. Okay. Now, if you take a look at the total expenses, or if you take a look at the expenses incurred, no, how much is the total? Pila ang total, ani guys? Pila ang total sa expense nga na-incur? Go. Open your mic or type. 30 million. 10 plus 8, 18 plus 6, 24 plus 4, 28 plus 2, 30 million. So 30 million ang total na ito nga na-expense, correct? Agree? 30 million na itong total na expense over 5 years. Over 5 years, 30 million na ito magasto. Now, on year 1 daw, naka-incur taog 2 million. So, if naka-incur tag 2 million on year 1, out of the 30 million, how much expense or pila ang percentage sa atong expense nga na-incur on year 1? Pila man? Oh, 16.67, no? 2 million over 30. So pagkuha nato anak kay naatay 2 over 30. So similarly, naatay 4 over 30 in 2012. In 2013, naatay 6 over 30. In 2014, naatay 8 over 30. In 2015, naatay 10 over 30. Mao ni siya itong fractions nga gamiton. Now, what's the relevance of this one? So relevant siya because this fraction will be used as basis for the ratio nato. Take note, in 2011 nakadawat og 60,000, no? Nakadawat tag 60,000 in 2011. Now, how do you think we record this one? The record nato ni siya as what we call a deferred grant income. So entry nato, debit cash nga 60 million, credit deferred grant income. So deferred grant income, guys, is a liability account. No, kay deferred man siya nga income or deferred revenue. 60 million. 60 million na itong nadawat. Now, this 60 million will be recognized as income over 5 years, no, by reference to the expense that we have incurred. Now, in 2011, nag-incur taog 2 million. So that is 2 million out of the 30 million estimated. I-multiply lang nato ni siya sa 60 million, similar to the rest. 60 million times 60 million. This way, we have achieved what? Ang sa itong na-achieve, na-achieve na to ang what we call matching. No, na-match na to si expense sa kay revenue. Or, na-match na to si revenue kay expense. So, 2011, pila itong recognize? 4 million. Kani kay 8 million. Kani kay 12 million. Kani kay 16 million. Kani kay 20 million. Okay. Naka-follow lang ba? Sige. Mag-pause ako for a couple of minutes. Naka-follow lang ba?
Naka-follow, sir.
Sige. Okay. Now, continuing. So, unsa man ni si 4 million? Unsa ni siya si 8 million? Unsa ni siya si 12, si 16, okay, 20? Ang tawag ani nila kay these are the deferred, these are the grant income recognized. So in 2011, nag-recognize ta og grant income nga 4 million. So our journal entry here, guys, is deferred grant income debit kay buhinan nato siya by 40 million. So since dapat i-recognize na nato ang 4 million. So credit GI or grant income. Okay. Now, naay alternative ani nga question. Let's say for example, mag-ask ang question, okay na tanong ka ba natang answer ani letter C? 2014 kay kanino? 2014, 8 over 30 times 60, that's 16 million. Now, an alternative question here, guys, they would be asking how much is the balance of the deferred grant income. Okay, let me ask you guys. Tagaanta ka mo another time. Another time to think. What do you think is the balance of the deferred grant income by the end of 2014? Pila ang balance sa deferred grant income at the end of 2014? Oy, kamaayo, oy. Correct, no? 20 million. Actually, kanina lang, no? Pero pwede po nato siya maingani. Diba, 60 million atong total beginning. So, on year 1 or 2011, nag-minus the 4. On year 2, nag-minus the 8. On year 3, nag-minus the 12. On year 4, nag-minus the 16. Kung i-minus mo sa 60 minus 4, minus 8, minus 12, minus 16, pila nang nabilin? 20. Okay, so clear tani guys. And so we can proceed to the next one. This is grant related to income, ha? Okay, so very good. Wala gini si Marie. Sige, let's continue. Okay, accounting standard requires the accounting standard daw requires a systematic and rational basis of recognizing the grant that matches, di ba anak ko, matches the cost. So in this case, the sum of years digit, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So tawag day ana is sum of years digits. No? Amortization of the expected method would be appropriate. So year grant ratio is recognized, blah, 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 blah. Kasi na siya. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Ang ato ang i-recognize nga income. Ang fraction nato 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Next. This one is grant related to depreciable asset. On January 2, 2011, Wink Corporation received a grant of 30 million to install run a windmill. So kanina sad, ingon ni government kay magpataod siya og windmill. Nga mag-manage po siya sa windmill. No, in an economically backward area. So kanang bawo kung saan siya. Wind Corporation has estimated that such a windmill would cost 50 million to construct. So ang cost nato to construct the windmill is 50,000. And we received 30 million, sorry. The secondary conditions attached to the grant is that the entity should hire labor in the local market, from the economically backward area where the windmill is located, instead of employing workers from other parts of the country. So it should maintain a ratio of 1:1 local workers from outside in its labor force for the next 5 years. So that is one of the conditions also. So other than running a windmill, they also should hire labor in the local community, and it should have a 1:1 ratio with local versus outside for the next 5 years. So that's the condition given by the government to them. The windmill is to be depreciated using the straight line method for over a period of 10 years. Okay. Sige. So the question, what amount of income related to the grant received should Wink Corporation recognize in its income statement for the year ended December 31, 2011? Okay. So we can actually compute it using both options. No? Pwede nato siya ma-compute using both options. So ako siya ito nga, guys. Sige, dali, bati. Dali lang ha. Sige, dali na lang nakasulat eh. Ako mag-iPad on top, pero anyway, ayun na lang. Mara magyapon akong agi. Lang. Kana. Sige. So let us record the transactions, no? Ato mag-journalize ta. Okay, so nakadawat tag 30 million, guys, from the government. So option 1, meaning i-recognize na to siya as income or deferred grant income. Option 2, i-recognize na to siya as deduction sa cost of PPE. Now, a recording here, makadawat ta og cash na 30 million. Mag-credit ta og PPE na lang, windmill, PPE. Pero mas shorter ang PPE, 30 million. Delete di ay. This is deferred grant income. Ang sama ko eh. Okay, ang option 1 lagi mo, siyang ang recognition recognize it as income. So credit na ko, mag-credit ko og deferred grant income. Okay. Dire, debit cash. Ari ko mag-credit PPE. Nagkabalik ko sa akong giingon. Credit PPE. 30 million. Next. Nahuman na nato construct ang PPE. Nahuman na nato siya construct. So ang entry nato, debit property, plant, and equipment. Ang cost nato, 50 million. Let's say for example, nagbayad ta ani tanan, di cash na to tanan. Credit cash. So cost sa PPE kay 50 million. Dere, same entry. Mag-debit og PPE. 50 million. mag-credit og cash 50 million. Now stop. Let's stop here. No. Awa. In the first option, guys, how much is the cost of the PPE? Ilang cost sa PPE, guys? Sa first option 1. 50. Option 2 pila man? Ang option 2 pila? Ang cost sa PPE. Sa option 2 di pila? Option 2 na santa? $20. Correct, no? 20. Kay nag-debit ta og 50, nag-credit ta og 30. So di ba option 1 kay nag-recognize ta og deferred grant income sa grant nga na-receive nato. Sa option 2, nag-recognize ta og reduction to the PPE. So nag-credit tag PPE 30. Okay. Now, sige. Now, this is the initial recording of the PPE and the deferred grant income. Now, at the end of 2011, guys, at the end of 2011, over 10 years man siya. So, di ba kung grant related to PPE, ang recognition nato sa deferred grant income would be the same as how we recognize the depreciation of the PPE. So, how much man di ay ang depreciation expense sa option 1? On 2011, pila man? Pila ang depreciation nito sa 2011 sa option 1? Depreciation, guys. Depreciation. Mana-mana. Pila man? Pila atong depreciation? Pila atong depreciation sa option 1? Wala pa kami nakita. Pila? Pila to ang depreciation? 5K? Millions ta. 5 million. 50 divided by 10. 50 million divided by 10. Diba? Uy guys, depreciation. Basic accounting. Cost of 50 million, since wala man tayo wala tayo salvage value, so ang cost nato nga 50 mo natong divide sa 10. So 15 million divided by 10, that is how much pila? Wala is, guys, salvage value is not always present. Actually, kung si tinod anay pa ni guys, ang salvage value, rare lang yung na siyang salvage value, guys. Wala ba ko kita kliyente, guys, nga na nagmagamit og salvage value. 5 million. 5 million. So, ang entry na to, debit. On option 1, debit depreciation expense. Credit to depreciation expense. Ay, mag-depreciation man to sa itong PPE. Depreciable asset man siya. Windmill, manggod siya. So, nasa depreciation. Debit, accumulated depreciation of 5 million. Now, kamo ngon, open-ended question. What's our other entry in option 1? To complete this, the entries here. What else are we going to be entering? The what? Sa atong i-entry ani guys sa sa option 1 na open mic or type. Oo mo ay. Unsa man guys, what is the journal entry in the remaining journal entry that we need to do in option 1? Unsa pa atong i-entry? Guys, di ba natin deferred grant income mag-recognize? So mag-recognize ta og grant income. Naka-recognize naman ta og depreciation. Di ba? Mo siyang katulo, depreciation expense DE 5 million, ang AD kay accumulated depreciation 5 million. Ang next na to nga i-recognize kay ang deferred grant income. So what do you think? How much is the deferred grant income that we recognize in option 1? Take note guys, this is not related to income anymore. Sige, Mipple, Jen. Open lang mic or type imong How much is the income that we are going to be recognizing in option 1? Pila guys, correct, no? Mag-recognize ta og 3 million because again, if it is a grant related to asset and we used option 1, a recognition would be the same as how we recognize the depreciation of the asset. So ang grant income nato nga dapat i-recognize in total is 30 million. Kaning 30 million ibahin ni nato siya sa 10 years. 30 million divided by 10, we will be recognizing income 3 million every year. So entry nato, we have to reduce deferred grant income by 3 million. Tangtangan na to 3 million sa deferred grant income, mag-recognize ta og grant income 3 million. Clear on option 1 or is there something that I need to expound pa sa option 1? Sorry. Clear or na pa may question? Option 1. Clear na may question guys? Clear na mo sa option 1? Sige. So, question, how much income that do we recognize related to the grant in the 2011? That is 3 million. So that is ani. Sige. Now in option 2, no, I said last time nga same lang ang effect. Now in option 2, how much is the depreciation? How much the depreciation? Correct, no? 2 million. Na naman 2 million, that is 50 million minus 30 million, that is 20 million divided by 10. So that is 2 million. Depreciation expense, 2 million. Accumulated depreciation, 2 million. Okay. Now, complete na ba itong entries or kulang pa ta sa option 2? Complete or kulang ang option 2 nga entries? Anang tulo? Or naapatay ito nga entry pa? Correct, no? Complete na. No, because wala na tayo i-entry nga grant income because wala tayo deferred grant income nga gi-recognize initially. So complete na ni siya. Now, in this case guys, tanawa sa kaninga case sa option 2. Even though we did not recognize deferred grant income, the effect in our financial statements, no, would be the same under option 1 and option 2. Because in this case, in option 2, the amount of depreciation that we recognized compared to option 1, naatay savings or reduced depreciation by how much? Pila man natong reduced depreciation? 5 million if wala na to siya gididak. Nya 2 million sa gididak na nato. So naka-save ta og expense by same amount, 3 million. So no matter what method you are going to be using, your income related to the grant would be the same. However, there is just a difference in accounting. Okay? Now, after anak, mag-proceed sa next. Sige, I'll give you the rest of 3 minutes until 7:15 to digest this problem. All right, time is up. Yeah, dali lang. So I'm gonna be skipping some of the problems here. Balik lang na siya na depreciable asset, part of a package, blah blah blah, and I'm gonna be skipping over to grants related to income, repayment. Now, arita sa repayment na pod guys. Okay, similar siya sa atong first nga problem. No? 60 million, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So ang income nato in 2011, sige, basahon sa nako. Basahon sa nako. So actual cost incurred in planting trees showed 2 million and 4 million in 2011 and 2012. So nasunod lang ang 2011, nasunod lang ang 2012. Pero in 2013 and 2014, the company has stopped planting trees. Ganun na siya question mark. Period dapat. The company stopped planting trees. Period. Due to the non-fulfillment of the obligation, gidemanda sa government nga bayadan nila ang grant amounting to 50,000, 50 million, which is considered reasonable. Guys, take note guys, usually guys, ang ginaparepay ni government is the full amount. Pero in this case, 50 million lang ang ilahang gipabayad. So ang question, what amount should be recognized as an expense related to the repayment of the grant? So pila daw ang ato ang i-recognize as loss on repayment related to the grant repayment. And it is a grant related to income. Okay. Now, I'm going to be revisiting a slide just for you to have an idea on the theory of this one. Kani, grant repayment related to income. Now, repayment of grant daw related to income shall be, ang himuon nato, first, apply first the deferred income balance, and the excess shall be recognized as an expense. So first himuon nato atong repayment, di ba? How much atong gibayaran balik? Nagbayad ta balik og 50 million. Now kaning 50 million dili nato ni siya ilahos og recognize as a loss. Ang himuon nato una kay mag-minus ta sa balance sa deferred grant income. Unsay nahabilin ani, it will be a loss on repayment. Okay, so kanang entry. Sige, na going back. Going back. First question. How much is the balance of the deferred grant income, guys? Tama ko yung answer. How much the balance of the deferred grant income? I'll give you until 2:22. 7:22, sorry. Pila ang balance sa deferred grant income, guys? Guys, take note, this is grant related to income and this should be based on the expenses incurred. Okay, sige, ako na lang. Sige ha? On year 1, in 2011, di ba ang balance sa atong deferred grant income kay 60 million pa? 60 million. No, nagsugod tag 60 million. No, entry na to, debit cash, credit, deferred grant income amounting to 60 million. Now in 2011, nagka-incur tag 2 million. So pila man ato ang i-income sa 2011, guys? Diba, atong ganina nga gi-example nato, ang income nato sa 2011, kung nag-incur tag 2 million out of the total 30 million, so that is 2 over 30 multiplied by 60 million, we will be getting 4 million. Ako na lang i-4M. Diba ang i-income nato sa 2011 kay 4M? So entry nato ani sa 4M kay debit deferred grant income. So since ki-debit nato si deferred grant income, magka-minus ni siya kay deferred grant income. So credit grant income 4 million. Now in 2012, di na ako mag-ano ha kaganina, same lang to siya, 8 million. So nag-debit na po ta grant income nga for 8 million. Okay. Now in 2013 daw and 2014, wala tay cost na na-incur nga no kay wala na tanag plant og trees. So wala tay grant income nga na recognize. Dapat. So 60 million minus 4 minus 8. Pila ang balance nato? 48 million. So ang balance sa atohang deferred grant income kay 48. Now, unsa ganito kung giingon? Na 50 million nga cash payment gibalik nato kay government. So since gibalik nato kay government, there is a corresponding credit to cash and a debit to a loss and to de-recognize or to erase this deferred grant income of 48. But before that, no, before ta mag-record og loss sa kaning 50 million, i-apply siya sa nato siya sa balance sa atuang deferred grant income. So 50 million minus 48 million, ang excess ani is what we call a loss on repayment of 2 million. So this is why the answer is letter B, 2 million. Our journal entry for this one, should be a debit to loss on repayment. RP na lang kay butang ha kay 2 million. Debit to deferred grant income to write it off. No, kay dili naman, wala naman tay i-deferred grant income kay gibalik na gani nato ang parta kay government. Credit cash nga 50 million. Ana siya, guys. So that's our complete journal entry. Clear? Sige. Next is Total grants received 60. Na-recognize na itong income is only 12, 2011 and 2012. Kay ara lang man ta nag-incur og cost. So 48 atong balance. So i-compare na to siya kay payment na to, nata excess nga 2 million. So that is okay, next na pod. A payment of grants related to asset. Okay. So, begin. On January 1, 2011, dali lang ha? Taas ba ni siya? Duha question. Okay, fine. Wink Corporation, sa kaninga case nakadawat ta og grant to build and run a power plant in an economically backward area. The secondary condition attached to the grant is that the entity should directly distribute the necessary needed power to the area at a rate that is much lower than the prevailing power rate in other advanced area. The power plant is to be depreciated using this. The power plant is to be depreciated using the straight line method over 10 years. Now, the power plant was completed at. This is very important, guys. The power plant was completed at the end of 2011. Kani guys, no? Permente good ko ani makalipat, guys. Unsa implication if makomplete ang power plant at the end of the year? Ang pasabot na in 2011 walay depreciation. Dili ka ka-depreciate kay at the end of the year naman siya nahuman. Let's say for example, December 28, 2011 siya nahuman. So mag-depreciate pa ka from December 28 to December 31. Dili na. Adto na ka sa closest month which is January 1. Adto na ka sa 2012 mag-depreciate. So meaning, since it was completed at the end of 2011, walay depreciation si power plant sa 2011. And started producing and distributing power to the backward area at a rate which is at par, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, 2013 daw, guys. Take note of the date, July 1. So that is 2011, 2012 kay 2011 man siya, end of 2011 man siya na complete. So ang depreciation nato sa PPE kay mag-depreciate lang ta sa whole year sa 2012 and mag-depreciate ta 1/2 sa 2013. Pause ako dire. Nakasabot ra mo nga nung depreciation nato sa 2012 lang o sa tunga sa 2013. Ngano kay na-complete ang planta at the end of 2011. Guys, ang depreciation, it would start at the time mahuman ang PPE. Kung wala pa nahuman ang PPE, ginahimo pa siya, dili na siya wala na siya, di pa na siya i-depreciate, guys. Ginahimo pa gani siya eh. Magka-appreciate pa gani siya ang value gani anak kay naman siya yung mga construction work na ginahimo, di ba? Okay. So ang depreciation lang nato kay 1.5 year. That's for 2012 and 1/2 of 2013. Nya, the government demanded Wink Company the repayment of the grant due to non-fulfillment of the conditions. Basin mahal ra kayo niyang rates iyang kuryente. Okay, so let us journalize this one using both options. Okay. Option 1. Ari sa to sa option 1. Kasi una nga question, recognized as income. Di ba? Option 1 is if it is recognized as income. Actually, di na ako siya ipangalan og option 1. Ipangalan ako siya as recognized as, butangan ko na lang as income. No, income. Recognized as deferred grant income. Ang entry na to ani, on January 2, 2011, entry na to kay nagdebit ta og cash 20 million, no, kay nakadawat man ta og cash na 20 million, mag-credit ta og deferred grant income 20 million. Clear lang magurin siya, no? Nakadawat tag 20 million, so debit cash, nya kani is related to the grant, deferred grant income. Deferred grant income pa kay naapatay obligation to operate the power plant and to provide the people in this community no, a rate that is lower than the prevailing power rate. Now, at the end of 2011, na-complete na ang PPE. So, our entry to record the completion of the PPE, debit PPE, 50 million. Credit, say for example, dili siya actually cash. Butang na lang nato, technically it's construction in progress. 50 million. Sige na lang, butang ko na lang cash. Lump sum daw nga entry daw para dili mo ma information bomb unsa ni siyang construction in progress. Later na lang siyang CIP, guys. Next kay recording of depreciation. Recording of depreciation, asa na ta mag-record? 2012. On 2012, pila man atong annual depreciation? That is 5 million. So debit depreciation expense, no? Credit accumulated depreciation. Ako na lang siya ibutang, guys, iisa ko na lang siya nga entry, ha. Ihimuon ko na lang siya 7.5 million. Pero ano dyan siya, technically this is a wrong entry. Pero i-total ko na lang ang entry kay Kapulan. Nag-gets nyo nga ng 7.5 million, guys? Correct. Tama to si Paula Margaret. No? 5 million sa 2012, then 2.5 million sa 2013. So ako na lang siya gitotal 7.5. Now, question. How much is the carrying amount of the PPE? Basic accounting lang siya question, guys. Pila ang carrying amount? Or pila ang book value? Oh, 42.5. Sige. Now, another entry that we have to do, on July 1, 2013, the government demanded the repayment of the grant. So kaning 20 million nga gihatag ni government sa ato pag 2011, ay sorry, napakoy kulang. Sorry ha. Napakoy i-recognize nga deferred grant income. Pila man natin i-recognize ka deferred grant income, guys, for the 1.5 years, guys. Pila man natong grant income nga i-recognize, sorry ha. Pila man? Deferred grant income, credit grant income, pila man natong i-recognize nga grant income for the 1.5 years? 3 million, that is 20 million divided by 10 years times 1.5. Diba kay ang annual nato kay 2 million, so ang 1.5 year nato is 1 million. So 2 million in 2012 and 1 million in 2013, which represents 1/2 of the year. January, February, March, April, May, June. Hindi nato ihapang July kay July 1 man. So correct na, very good. Asa na to siya? Nawala lagi akong pointer. Aka na. That is 3 million. Mupapog another question. How much is the balance of the deferred grant income prior to repayment? Pila man? Pila ang balance sa DGI, guys? 17 million, correct. That is, nagsugod taog 20 million, nag-minus taog 3 million, bilhin nato kay 17 million. Gets lang 17 million? Sige, gets na tong 17 million ha? Kay natay other entry ana. Sige, another entry would be the repayment. So since wala may giingon nga amount, it is assumed that the whole amount of 20 million shall be repaid. Very easy entry. Magbayad man ta og cash nga 20 million, so there is a debit credit to cash of 20 million. Now, of course, we have to cancel out the deferred grant income. So tangtango na tong deferred grant income by debiting it. Debit deferred grant income 17 million. So the difference between 20 million and 17 million, which is 3 million, this is what we call a loss on repayment. So loss on RP. So question, how much is the loss on repayment? Answer, 3 million. Clear ta ani guys? Any question? Sige. Wala. So, next na ko ang page. Sige na ay. Sige, nag-raise ang hand. Sige. You have questions, please do, wala na. Sige. Okay. So, ari ko sa PICAS na page. So, ang question, what is the carrying value of the power plant as of July 1, 2013, assuming at the time of initial recognition, the grant received was recognized as deferred income. So natubag na siya nato, di ba? That is 42.5 million. That is the carrying amount or the carrying value of the PPE prior to repayment. So cost of the asset, 5 million. 7.5 atong depreciation. So ato ang carrying value kay 42.5. So debit or the journal entry to record the repayment of the grant, mag-expense ta or loss on repayment of 3 million. Natay deferred grant income na 17 million and a credit to cash for the amount that we paid for the repayment of the grant. So similar lang gapon to siya sa ako ang sulat. Okay, so any questions? If none, proceed ko sa PICAS. So ang PICAS kay assuming, lahi na po nga assumption, ang assumption nato kay option 2, which is recognize nato siya as reduction to the related asset. Okay, so let's have journal entries. On January 2011, we received 20 million from the government related to the asset. So debit cash, kinakadawat og cash na 20 million. Since ang policy nato kay reduce siya sa asset, credit, PPE, 20 million. On December 2011 or at the end of 2011, na-complete na nato ang PPE. So, we have to debit PPE, 50 million. Credit, butang ko na lang balik ha, cash na po ha. Pero actually, dili ni siya cash. Daghan ni siya og credits, guys. Pero ano na lang siya. For illustration purposes, kausa na to bayad ang cash sa kaninga PPE. Pero dili na siya realistic. Kay constructed, manggod siya. Sige, anyway, doesn't matter. So for the 1.5 years, guys, how much is the depreciation expense for this in this case? Pila? 4.5. How did we compute? That is 30 million. 4.5. 30 million, that is 50 minus 20, 30. Divided by 10, that is 3 million per 3 million per year. Yeah, times 1.5 years. That is correct, no? 4.5 billion. So entry na to, depreciation expense, 4.5, credit, accumulated depreciation, 4.5. Okay. What is the carrying of the sayop man siyang option, ane. Dili niya dapat 42.5 ang question, ang answer. Dapat. Anyway, let us compute lang, sorry. For a while, sige, balik. Sige, correct. Do we need, other question, do we need to recognize deferred grant income in this case, guys? How about the i-recognize the deferred grant income, yes or no? Na-distract ko kaya na nag-invite na ako sa sa ML. So nagbasa ko sa chat. Sige na, weekends na guys, magduwa na ko guys. Dili mo kay Bao, mag-ora man ko nagduwa. Mga 3 weeks po ko nagduwa. Struggle kay ko.
No, sir.
Paano ba paad? Paano magpaad? Later na lang. Oy, i-carry ko ninyo ha. Banga ba kay ko? Sir, yung nasend mo pa kanina link yung sa Phil 124, hindi po yung sa ECC 106. Revisit lang na ako, laters. What do you mean? Sir, yung nasend mo po kanina na link, yung sa Phil 124 po. Hindi po yung, okay, sorry. So yung na-attach ko na na file kay kay ang Phil 124. I mean yung link po ng GCR, sir. Okay, yeah, sorry, 106 pala. Sige, fine. Sige, humanon sa nato ang klase ha. Sige, unahon ko na lang aron di ko makalimot. Here is for section unsa ni siya? Section B2 nya kani guys for section B1. Ikaw na lang find sa kaniya nga section. Sige. So question is before balik ko na ko sayop ni siyang options guys. Before daw actually same lang po siya. Actually correct ra gyapon di siya. Kaya wala man siya nag-ingon nga before or after. Wala siya nag-ingon before or after. Nyalay siyang Sige, ari sa ta sa before. Prior to us repaying the grant, guys, what is the balance of our asset? Pila na lang ang balance atong asset, guys, prior to repayment of the grant? Nagsugod ta og 30 million. Mo siya tong adjusted nga cost. Nag-minus ta og depreciation nga 4.5, correct? So pila naman lang? Naimo siya og 26.5, correct? 26.5. Correct ba ko?
25.5.
25.5. Wrong lagi. Ano lagi ko? Joke. 25.5. Sorry guys Garile. Sige, 25.5. Sige. However, di ba naingon to nga there is repayment of the grant. Okay. Now, if it is a grant related to asset, so let us go back to the previous pages. If unsay effect, if grant related to asset and di minus nato siya sa cost. So unsay chika ni standard? For a while. Kani. Ang himuon daw nato is to cancel the effect of the grant. Himuon nato is to cancel the effect of the grant, and how do we do that? We increase the carrying amount of the asset if the deduction approach is used. And if the deduction approach is used, we recognize the expense, the cumulative additional depreciation that would have been recorded to date in the absence of the grant if the deduction approach is used. So ang ano lang dyan ana guys is that kung ang gist ng dyan ana, pila ang depreciation or pila ang carrying amount sa asset, no? Kung wala na nato gi-minus ang grant sa asset. So ang himuon lang nato is i-restore it to its original or to its supposed cost. So this is how it goes. What is a journal entry, by the way? Debit, asset, credit, cash, depreciation, expense, accumulated depreciation. Okay. So therefore, guys, di ba, pila man natong gibayaran? Nagbayad ta og 20 million. Nagbayad tag 20 million, di ba? Balik ko na ko. Nagbayad tag 20 million, no? Kay gi-repay man nato siya on July 1, 2013. Nagbayad tag 20 million. So kung ang entry nato sa pagbayad sa 20 million, of course, magkag-credit ta sa cash. Diba ka magbayad man gud ta sa cash. 20 million. Now, instead nga deferred grant income atong i-debit, wala man tayo deferred grant income din nga i-recognize. Ang himuon nato is to simply reverse this entry. Ibalik lang nato si PPE. So effectively, with this entry, unsay mahitabo sa PPE, mahimo siya og 50 million balik, no? 50 minus 20 plus 20, that is still 50. Now, another thing, ni ana pa dyan standard, or sa katong giingon ako katong si letter C, kay we have to record additional depreciation that would have been recorded had we not deducted the grant to the cost of the asset. I butchered it a little bit, but that's the gist. Okay. Pila man di ay dapat atong i-recognize nga depreciation, guys? Pila man dapat atong i-recognize nga depreciation in total sa 1.5 years? Kung wala na nato gi-minus ang 20, pila man?
7.5.
Yes, correct. Very good. 7.5. Pero 4.5 lang man natong na-record. So himuon nato, mag-recognize ta og depreciation nga additional. So additional depreciation, di ba, ang supposedly dapat pag 7.5 ta, pero 4.5 lang man natong na-record. So nata i-catch up, mag-catch up ta og 3 million. So entry nato, depreciation expense 3 million. Nya mag-credit ta og accumulated depreciation 3 million. Effectively, pareho lang siya og effect. Now, question, how much is the carrying amount of the PPE? In this case, pila na siya? Pila siya? Pila ang carrying amount niya? So, after everything, pila yung carrying amount? Pila ang carrying amount, guys, sa PPE? No? Pila? 42.5. Correct. Mura ra siya na balik. No? Gibalik ra nimo ang PPE. Katong wala, murag as if wala nimo siya gi-minus ang ang 20. 'Di ba? 50 plus 20, that's 30. Pero nag-plus kag 20, that's 50. Nya na kay depreciation nga 4.5, nya nag-add ka sa 4.5 og 3. So 7.5. So ang cost nimo or ang PPE nimo nga 50 minusan nimo og 7.5 na depreciation, that is 42.5. So correct naman day, correct na siya po ang question ni ay 42.5 lang gyapon ang answer. Nya, just a trivia, another lang pod. Ang effect, dili sa trivia actually, ang effect ani sa income would be the same for both cases. In this case, sa kaninga case guys, sa current na to nga page, natay expense nga additional 3 million. Depreciation expense. Effect ana sa kaning additional depreciation expense, this is a deduction to net income of 3 million. Sa kaninga case, sa PICAS, natay gi-recognize nga loss nga 3 million. Ang effect, deduction to net income of 3 million. So effectively, both would have the same effect, no, to net income, and both would have the same effect to PPE. Right? Yes, that's it for government grant. So discard. So gonna be posting the material that I used in the classroom, as well as an additional lecture video. So what you need to do is just to answer the module that I sent in the classroom. The deadline would be Tuesday afternoon, or Tuesday na lang jud, Tuesday before class, ana na lang aron para di mo mabitin, no. After naman gyapon. Pero sige. Anything else that I need to add? Wait lang ha, gating pa ko. Katong sa ACC 106 ang deadline ato kay Monday morning. So please work on it na. Monday morning pod. Monday morning is, by the way, is dedicated to ACC 106 activity time for activities na siyang morning. Muna siyang wala tay klase. Gihatag lang na ako siya in advance for you to work on this weekend if ganahan mo mag-study weekends. Bala ka mo. Second year pa mo okay rin na siya. Second year pa gani ko sa una guys, kanang pag second year na ako sa una kay sige kanang Friday kay magbinuntagay ko na duwag dota. Nya Saturday until Saturday. Mag-send kag G-form. Oo, mag-send kog G-form mga Monday siguro, or Monday na lang. Di ko mag-ingon ugma kay feel na ko di jud ko mag-open mga device jud ugma weekends. Good. Yeah, basin sa Sunday siguro basin maka-post ko. Same ra atong PPA dili ra upload. Yeah, same lang. It's module man gud siya, so fine. Okay, so yeah. We'll be uploading this one right after the class. So that's it, guys. Enjoy your weekends. Bye-bye. Good night. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Sir, sir, magpa-aday ko sa kwan, sir.